understanding. We're on a mission from God.
They shouldn't have given you ashy blokes YouTube.
Cursed be the ground for our sake. Both thorns and thistles it shall bring forth for us. For out of the ground we were taken, for the dust we are. And to the dust we shall return.
I'm done with life, and it's all Jermaine's fault. It's always Jermaine's fault. I'm done.
All right, good people. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and bring Mookie up while I welcome you guys in. Don't want to keep him backstage too long, so I'm gonna bring him up while I welcome you guys in. So, and there's our guest of honor, Mookie. Let's see. Who's up? Hey,
sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. I didn't want to keep you back there too long, but if you got stuff to do, you can just mute yourself while I go ahead and welcome some people.
Okay, yeah, no problem.
Okay. Kevin's up first. Saint Seer batting second. Adric batting third today. Basically, Snowman batting cleanup, driving some runs. Yeah, I told you we'd go 7, Snowman, and I wasn't surprised that OKC won. Ram Lab, what's up? Ilias, Martin, what's happening? Luther, what's going on? Inspired Truth, Shannon Moore, AL, Turtle Bitcoin, Wagner, okay. Samuel Isaacs, what's going on? Quentin, Philip, what's happening? Shannon Green, Nana, what's happening? The Black Toxic, what's happening? Horowitz, Philip, Afro Merchant, Jason, Eddie, what's going on, man? How's the NYC? Ryan Russell, what's going on? Biro, Willie R, what's going on? Another Monday that we avoided World War III. I don't think we'll get that far. I think they pretty much know where the line is. So I don't think we'll ever get that far. Kareem, what's happening? Independent POV, what's up? Supreme Pivot, what's happening, I believe? Jeffrey, TB, Afro Merchant, and that is it. Okay, we're welcome to everybody in. So everybody knows, I don't have to, there's no introductions necessary. Everybody know who Mookie is. What's going on, Theo?
They might not know who I am. They might
everybody I get questions about you daily. Anybody know what Reveal's Facebook link is? I said, why don't you ask Ninja, see if Ninja Person's in the house, okay?
Yeah.
I get that daily.
Ninja Person's pretty good for that, so shout out to him.
Oh, yeah.
Historically, I don't usually put that in there because I look at it as potentially like being seen as drift, or, right? And I graft or something like that, and I don't tend to want to do it. And then plus, normally when I'm in your chat, I'm going in there as a spectator. I'm pulling the phone, right? So I want to relax.
Yeah. You want to be part of the show like everybody else.
Yeah. So I'm not really thinking about the class, but people are like, what about the class, this and that? I'm like, do human sacrifice, and I'll tell you about it.
Yeah, well, normally I have one of your students in there. They'll actually put the link up.
Ninja Person's very good for that. So shout out to him.
The managers like herding cats, man. They never stay on track.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you read the letter I just sent you, and that's part of the frustration that I'm having. Over doing this for years. But so the course is going well. So I want to give a general update in the beginning. We got a lot of guys getting certified.
The Ninja Person says, the link is locked and loaded for the stray cats.
Thank you, Ninja Person. So The course is doing very well, and we just did VPN and BGP last night.
Okay.
And the 6th session on there, and the students are doing extremely well, understanding a lot of concepts. And these are advanced concepts that we use for security and routing inside the enterprise, not like something you would just do like a CompTIA based lab or anything. Now, this is like how you make real money.
Okay.
So
really boots on the ground for sure, huh?
Yeah, that's all I'm going to deal with myself. I mean, I'm a professional. I've been doing this over 25 years. I don't do simple stuff. I do complex things. So I make it. I mean, of course, I can teach it from basic to get you to complex.
Yeah.
Even when I teach you something that's basic, it's relevant to making money.
Right.
All right. It's not just going to be some sort of idea. We don't have time for that.
That's why I said it's less about a class and more like an apprenticeship, because basically it's like taking May was talking about this, and I said what is better, going to culinary school or working with a master chef for about a year?
Exactly. Yeah. You're going to learn by far more with a master chef.
With a master chef, yes.
Yeah. And so one of the goals for me in the class, the way I've always taught it is, if I had 6 months to teach you how to take over my job, how would I do it?
Right.
So that's how I teach it, so that you can actually do my job.
Right. They can replicate what you do. Yeah.
Right. So there's some advanced stuff that I'm doing now, especially with AI. That's more critical.
Yeah.
That's going to be a part of the next course. But for now, the guys are doing very well in cloud. They're advancing very well. Getting a lot of certifications. We just got another, SAP. So that's certified architect.
Okay.
That's a very high level certification in AWS. It's one of the highest levels you can get. So guys are still working and putting in the time and effort and getting the results.
Okay.
So in that case, I gotta say, shout out to the students. Shout out to them. They're doing a great job and very satisfied with the progress.
Yeah, the thing is, the thing is, we don't sugarcoat anything. We tell you that, okay, this ain't easy, okay, and the reward on the other side is well worth it, because they don't pay you to do nothing. They don't pay you for sugarcoating. Basically, you have to get in there, have to learn how to do real work. So,
right, exactly. And this will be real work. And the real benefit of this is that, especially if you want to become a passport bro,
right,
the United States legitimately for an extended period of time.
Yeah.
When I say extended, I mean at least 2 years straight. None of this going back and forth stuff. Because I mean, I did over 16 years abroad in Japan by itself.
Okay.
My mentality is 20 years abroad. So I did a year in Russia, a year in France, also, and then some other countries. When I leave, I leave. That's it. I'm on. I've got a visa. I'm out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't come back. So I want the guys to be able to be on that level. If you're going back and forth to the States, I'm like, no, you're not. You're just a tourist over there.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to be able to leave and set up visa.
Yeah.
Own property, buy a house.
Yeah. I always emphasize, if you're going to be there, try to become part of the culture. Right. That's why you're leaving in the first place. If you want to keep your culture, you could have stayed here.
Right. Exactly. Like that's essentially what it is. It's just, you're an American abroad, and I'm like, no, you're not going to be an American abroad. I want you basically to be able to do an integration.
Okay. Just a quick question. If you want to get into IT, do you have to start with your CompTIA A+ or CompTIA Network Plus?
That's if you want to get a job so that you get outsourced and become homeless.
Okay.
You're the CompTIA.
Okay. Yeah. That's old school.
Right. If you want to actually get a job and actually pay your rent and have some money to progress in life, you need to get a job. Your certification needs to be with a vendor. So it's like, for example, I'm Cisco. I'm also Microsoft. It needs to be in there first. If you're just doing something general like CompTIA is giving you a participation prize for reading some documentation.
Yeah.
That's about it. And then they charge you $200, and it's like, why are you doing that? It makes no sense.
It's like, I guess it's like a beginning level course to get your feet wet for the most part.
I mean, well, I understand it for the U.S. military, because if they got guys in there who can barely read,
yeah,
and they have to have a basic level of competency, okay, fine. You're on a battleship someplace, and you have the communication to work correctly. You're using CompTIA.
Yeah,
good for you. And that's good. Private sector, no, man, no. They're gonna say to you, for example, we have a Juniper networking environment. We need a Juniper engineer who can come in here and do the basic level for Juniper work. Do you know what to do?
Yeah.
And you'd be like, no, I'm CompTIA. I'm like, no, we can't use you. You have to be Juniper.
Yeah. It's like hiring a mechanic that only knows how to change tires.
Right, exactly. So you have a BMW, you're like, hey, look, I need like
have you ever worked on one of these before? Yeah.
Yes. If it's just a tire guy, I'd go get a illegal down the street to go do that. They know how to do that really well.
Yeah, they do. They do it all day. Yeah.
Raise them some cash, they're good. They let that stuff slide. If you're gonna do real work, you need to have real skill set. And so that's what my class focuses on, is making sure the students have a real skill set for not only now what is necessary in cloud, but now I'm focusing on the future.
Because I think it was Jules that told me that because of what's going on over the last couple of years, you're going to have to make a shift. In other words, got to be a little faster to keep ahead of that bear. Yeah,
this is the AI shock, essentially, and this AI shock is something I'm going to have to pay attention to extremely seriously myself. If the engineers do not pay attention to this, they're going to have a problem. So I said to you in your letter, one of the main focuses is you want to be using AI as a tool to help you in your job and organization.
Yeah.
Don't want AI to be a tool for HR to remove you from your position.
True.
And as long as you're the one who's controlling AI, who's implementing it, extending it, and programming it, it'll be okay.
Yeah.
But if you're like, hey, look, I can't do that. It's just too hard. It's too much work to do. I don't know. Can I do something easier? There's an easy way to do AI? What I suggest you do is just go to the river and look for the best bench, because that's where you're going to be.
It is I think because I heard about this hell back. I know you're a geek like me. So I know you're aware of Art Bell back in the day, Coast to Coast. Okay, probably avid fan, right? So we heard about this coming way back in the mid '90s. Okay, so to us, it's not unusual because we've been seeing this slow rollout. Okay, and just recently, since COVID, really since I think what really kicked it off was DeepSeek. Okay, because now the AI companies have real competition. Okay, so now that's when the bear, they're letting all the bears out of the cages, right? It's okay, let's go ahead and clean house, because when ChatGPT first came out, I had like 5 of my programmers that you tested out. Okay, see how well this will actually improve your workflow. Okay, and when it came back is 4 out of 5 programmers could be replaced with AI. Okay, 1 programmer and an AI could replace 4. So in other words, they only need like 20, maybe 30% of the people. So okay, if they test this and they know this, I said eventually they're going to try this, and so that's how we got all these layoffs with Amazon and Google and Microsoft and all this kind of stuff, because you had to see it coming. Okay,
right. So what you're talking about in the 90s was the expert systems.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, I've got books on those, and that was a foundation for AI. Well, there was some other stuff before that, but for me, that was the basic. Like,
you were talking about, the cutting edge in the laboratory stuff was AI. Okay. I mean, with hooking up brain cells and all that kind of cutting edge stuff where they're experimenting with it. Yeah. Now, those were real AI systems, and then the real peeper was with the search agents, right? Because with Google, the search agents have been around since Insular in the 80s. Okay, so that's what the NSA and the FBI they used to use just to go search on the net, especially on the dark web. And then Google brought those agents into the search engines. Okay, And then I think in 2013 I saw the article with Yahoo where these particular agents started inventing their own language out of the blue, and they closed them down. So I said, okay, they can only hold these things back for so long. So fast forward 12 years later, they have to let these things out, and this is what's going to happen.
Yeah, so that's like actually part of what I have to do for work.
Yes,
understand the limitation of data that can be given to an AI agent.
Yes,
so that especially so they don't blabber too much.
That's true. You got to keep an eye on them.
Yeah, they
like
start
kids.
They start spilling information like stuff that you're not supposed to do that. I then put in more guardrails, and then they figure out ways of circumventing guardrails.
Yeah, that happened. I know you read that recently with I think it was a Google agent,
right?
Where engineers just like you told it to shut down, and it figured a way out how to get out of bed and circumvent it. So so that's why people like you are necessary, because even the people at the top do not trust these things, especially with your money and with your because it's money, it's what is it, logistics, all that stuff is being filtered through AI of some type, and they need people to keep an eye on it. And I think that's where you guys come in.
And so one of the things I'm doing in the class is using Augentic AI, which is actually embedding agents into your applications, into your security analysis tools, your SIM tools. This is a very complex system process. Not only the extension of it, but what you want is the agent to be semi-autonomous.
Yes.
And to actually report back to a central AI system. So like it could be DeepSeek, for example.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then you're keeping an LLM basically within your company. Well, if you do this like in this manner, how do you maintain your data structure? Like how do you make sure that there's no leakage? What does it really know? And this is, again, for security, is a massive issue.
Yes.
But how do you, like, for the user experience or for what we're doing at work, how can those agents be purposeful? So we have to, like, I'm working on this right now. So I told my students yesterday, we're failing. There's a lot of failure here. There's development work, yes, but there's failure. Yeah. And that's part of it that you're doing the first wave. This is what it's all about. You're learning how this is supposed to work. So it is, it's a good opportunity, literally for me. I'm going to be implementing what's called Augentic AI, which is kind of agent-based AI.
Now, and explain that in a little bit of detail, because everybody's not an expert, so you got to break it down a little bit more with grounds.
It's a new term, new term. So basically, what it is you're going into your clusters, your containers, Kubernetes, and then you're putting AI agents in certain areas.
Okay.
Or different functions. So within a cluster, it could be one namespace versus another. It has from one microservice versus another. There's actual AI there.
So you're assigning them like little tiny agents inside those clusters. Okay, all right.
And then you're helping it to function, but also helping it to deliver services, and you're extending the services better than what you'd normally be able to do with programming with like Python.
Okay.
So I'm having to work on this, and again, for them it's the Wild West. For me, it's Wild West as well. But I found out that this is really going to be the frontier for the next 2 years.
Oh yeah, and probably even further. Yeah.
This is going to be good.
Yeah, it's because they're, like I said, they're especially with competing with the Chinese, they're tying all the systems. Okay, according to the Chinese and the BRICS, most of your money will be tied into AI, because you got $1 trillion companies running on with like 100 employees, right? Most of that's done by AI. Has to be. They can't do it.
So there's okay, my company, right? I'm a manager, and I found out 2 of my programmers were using AI mainly for programming. Okay. And I was looking at it, I was like, well, this is why we're having issues, because you actually don't know what these functions are doing and what the purpose is. You're relying 100% on AI.
Yeah.
So I canned them, terminated them straight out.
Okay.
And I hired a competent guy who still used AI. He used Copilot.
Yeah.
But he used it as a spell checker, not as a programmer.
Okay.
And so he then knew how to improve his code but he knew the purpose of the code and why he was doing the architecture of the code.
Right.
And that's why I say to people, if you don't know what you're doing in the first place, but you're just having AI do everything, you're not going to know the difference between a right or a wrong answer.
Right, it's true.
And you're just going to come in doing gibberish. And that's ultimately how the company's going to look at your work as gibberish. So we teach you how to do the work and how to know it. But I was going to tell you, BGS, I mean, how many times do I go after my students and say, you even understand what you're doing? And they say, oh, I did AI for all this. I'm like, yeah, it shows because it does look like it.
And people don't believe it. This is the nice side of Mookie. right here.
And then I'm like, my class.
Yeah. And his class is completely different. He's a taskmaster for a good reason.
Well, it's for the purpose of the student. I'm thinking, like, I don't want you to be, in Colombia, about to marry Maria, like this Colombiana. You've never had a woman so beautiful before. And you're basically an incompetent idiot on the job, and they figure this out and they fire you. So 2 days before your wedding, you've got no cash flow.
Right.
I ain't doing that. No. So I want to make sure that the guys know what they're doing, so when they go abroad, they can be pretty sure and confident about their decisions.
Yeah. They're paying you to be an expert. They're not paying you to be an employee. Okay.
Right. Yeah. Subject matter expert, SME. You're supposed to be a subject matter expert in a certain area.
Right. And
I teach that to the students as much as I possibly can. So some students get it. They understand. I always tell them that graduation from my course is getting a job. That's, if you're making a job, you're getting 6 figures. I consider that to be a success. If you're just getting a certification, I mean, that's cute and everything, but if you're not getting paid, who cares? I need you to be getting paid, and that's what we really focus on, is having the guys get jobs,
right?
Not just pass a test.
No. That's you can do that. You do that in community college.
Right. Yeah. Right. Exactly. So there you go. That's, I guess, a good introduction for right now. You got a lot of super chats, so I'm sure you want to read them real quick.
Hey, what's going on, Naaman Magus? Okay, Yambo from Kenya. Okay, appreciate you.
Yeah.
See, Shannon Green says paying the DOF tax. Okay, there's one of your boys says, thanks for getting Theo on. I hope brothers understand this is a great opportunity for those who are willing to hurt their brain a bit. Okay? It's better than being eaten by the bear. Okay. Ask all the women that got laid off, okay, that thought they had a career. If you want to get in IT, you have to okay, we already read that one. Okay, we caught up.
So those people who are losing their jobs. I'm going to talk about this. I'm going to talk about this at the conclave. I'm going to talk about this real quick.
Yeah.
The people who are most susceptible to losing their jobs are people who they're following a process, to fill in information on a template, and there's a decision tree regarding how they take that information and they interact with a human being.
Right.
Those people are gone with AI.
Yeah,
we totally remove. Again, the classic one is the what is it? The lawyer. I forget what it's called.
The paralegal. Yeah.
Paralegal gone.
Yeah.
Any kind of help desk out.
Yeah. Out. Yeah.
Anything about any of that kind of stuff is just not going to happen at all.
Yeah. Yo, Theo, how do you feel about prompt engineering as a career?
What I say is heck and peck. Thank you for your super chat. You need to think about prompt engineering as a solution, and if it is a solution, how would you implement it? That's the proper way of thinking about it.
It's a tool. It's not a It's not a career.
It's not a career. It's a tool that you use. So why would you do prompt engineering? Like, for what can you identify the problem that you're trying to solve? One of the things, guys, again, who are listening to this, you're going to go around in circles about how to use AI and why are you using it in one way versus another? Really, why? And that's going to be the why is going to be a huge question for you. But once you start figuring it out, okay, then you understand what to do next.
Right, right. Yeah, basically, most of the people that are at the top of their game, as they say, look at AI as an extension of what they already know. Okay,
Correct.
How can I actually leverage the knowledge that I already have and use AI to actually do it? Okay.
I think of it as a glorified search engine.
It is. That's really what it is for the most part.
Yeah, with a little bit more understanding and context.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it's going for. But so, for example, let's say that when I solve a problem, I usually have a methodology for doing that.
Right.
AI might have a more developed methodology because it has not only more data being used,
mm-hmm.
but it's not like a human where we just kind of do things repetitively because we get tired. AI doesn't have that problem. So we can say, hey, well, why not this solution or this one, right? It's something from a different point of view that you wouldn't think about because you're tired.
Right.
Okay. In that case, AI is wonderful. And using it for those kind of solutions solves a lot of problems. But if you're fundamentally thinking like, I don't know what the problem is, I don't want to do anything at work, I just want to sit back and watch YouTube while AI does all my job, you're gone. That's it. You're toast. You're not going to make it. So you really do need to fundamentally think about AI as a tool, not as a replacement.
Okay. Ninja Person probably will sporadically throw up links for you, you stray cats. Okay. So just hit add Ninja Person. He'll probably post it for you. Says, I have 9 years of experience as an engineer. How do I balance being a full-time consultant while also being a CEO, CTO of my own SAS or on LinkedIn?
What I say is you're kind of feeling silly there. You really do need to be thinking, if you have all that experience and you have your own SaaS as well, that means you're developing it on yourself, on your own. You can figure out how to prioritize your goals.
Yeah, and in other words, basically what Theo's saying, and this is coming from doing this kind of crap for a long time and being an analyst, right? Okay. Theo's saying, what problems, if you've been in the field 9 years, you know what problems come up, okay? How can you leverage AI to actually solve those problems faster and better? Okay, and if you've been in the field long enough, you already know what the answer is. Okay, so
yeah. See, that's why I've learned over time not to fall for those kind of questions.
Yeah.
Hey, you know it.
Yeah, I mean, if you've been in any field for 9, 10 years, okay, you know what issues that come up over and over and over and over and over again, right? And you've been probably trying to find a solution for those problems over and over and over again, so you know where the pain points are. And your thing is to relieve the pain points. Okay, how can I come up with a solution or a tool or a process to get rid of that pain point? Okay, you already know where they are, so asking Theo what they are without knowing what your expertise is useless, because you got to remember, IT, just like any other field, is very wide and broad. Okay, and everybody doesn't have the same pain points or issues. Okay,
right.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Well, so hold on. Where do you start if you don't know anything about the IT field? You can start in my class.
Yeah,
it's designed for people who don't know anything, who come off the streets. So my original requirements for the class is that you had to be a black man with a pulse. I had to write in there in that requirement, like the second part, if you have a problem reading that, go back.
Yeah.
Because what part of black man with a pulse do you want me to say? Like that's
yeah. And but the thing is, people think in a traditional, because I had to, when I looked at what Theo was doing, I actually sat in on a couple of his classes. Okay, you're looking at it from a traditional, what is it, the Prussian school system top-down class. That's not what he does. Okay, he calls it a class, but it's actually an apprenticeship. He goes by showing you how to replicate what he does on a daily basis. That's an apprenticeship. Okay,
Right.
Like I said, there's a difference between going to a culinary class with a bunch of students versus a one-on-one session or one-on-one apprenticeship with a master chef. Okay, gonna learn way more. What he's trying to do is have you replicate what he does on a daily basis.
Right. Yeah, and I got this
Different.
actually from the Japanese and the Germans.
Yeah.
And their repetition inside the job, and they can
Yeah.
somebody who doesn't know anything and make them into a master within 5 years.
Yes.
And you have to go through this process, and it's very mundane. But if you go through it, you're set for the rest of your life.
Yeah. You do that with. I learned this because I had to coach basketball, right? Okay, and there's a very set way that you have to go through teaching a kid that can't even dribble. Because I taught kids that were 11, 12 years old that couldn't even dribble. Okay, and by the time the end of the season, they know how to dribble and shoot. Okay, but you have to go through step by step and teach them what do they need to know. You have to cut out all the fluff. Okay, I know you want to do this. You want to do crossover drills behind the back. No, we're gonna start here because these are the basics that you're gonna need just to get on the floor. Okay, and you have to show them. So I'm very good at saying, okay, identifying what you can and cannot do, what your strength is and what your strength isn't. Okay, and identifying what skills you actually need to actually get on because the object is to get you on the floor and play. Sit there in the backyard and shoot. Okay, the object is how do I get this person on the floor and be effective? Now,
right,
does the same thing.
Yeah, I'm thinking like, how do I get you in front of the CEO or this big manager and what the job is and actually provide a solution and to understand how to deal with failure, how to deal with adversity, how to deal with politics in the office, and if you need some extra time, how you get that time in order to provide the solution.
Okay, MXINF says, I meant as far as not shooting myself in the foot as far as marketing on LinkedIn because I still want consulting positions, but I'm working on my startups. Or that's probably a broader saying because we have no idea what your startups are, what you're involved in, what kind of technology you're trying to leverage. That's a big, you probably have to email Mookie or one of his assistants and actually have a one-on-one consultation with him because that's a very broad question. Okay, in tech, it's almost impossible to answer. Go ahead.
I would say you need to choose your struggle when you actually appear in front of somebody. So the American market tends to be siloed. So if somebody's talking to you about your job in consulting, you need to talk about that. If you say you're consulting and you're doing startups, they're going to call you a dreamer. Yeah, and they're going to say like, "Hey, you're pursuing two goals, but you have no mastery of anything." Yeah, and they're going to just drop you right then and there.
Most people when they come to me with an idea, okay, whether it's tech, whether it's medical, okay, my number one thing, what problem are you trying to solve? Okay, like a friend of mine, he's we're going through code, right? He had came up with a solution about a sleeping mat that detects when you turn and your movements and all that kind of stuff, your breathing, all that kind of stuff as a patient. Okay, I said, so what problems are you trying to solve? Okay, because I said I can think of three things that can solve as far as tech that you would need it. I said, and most likely, he actually designed it for a home. But the thing is, that's probably more designed for like a rest home or a convalescent home, right? Because you got one nurse, you got 50 patients. Okay, how do you keep track of them all? So the thing is, what's your solution? What problem is your solution trying to solve? Right. Where does it fit? And that's what a consultant does. Okay, I'm walking. If I got a business, man, you come walk with me as a consultant. Okay, man. Okay, I got this, and this. Can you solve the problems that I'm having? And if you can't, I'm going to hire you. If you can't, guess what, man? Go try somebody else. Okay.
Right. Exactly. You have to understand that when you present yourself.
Yes.
So, like for example, in my house, I've got two small little dogs. If I have a problem with little dogs, I'm going to look for somebody who understands small dogs. If you're saying you're a cat person or like you want to open up a zoo on the side, I'm like, screw that. I need someone who actually understands my breeds. I'm not going to mess with you.
Right.
That's just the way it is. I mean, that's like just as a fundamental level. So you have to think about how you present yourself. Yeah. When I go to a job position, if they need AWS engineer, I'm AWS.
Yes.
I talk about other clouds or other things. I'm like, no, I'm AWS. If they need GCP, I'm a GCP guy coming in.
Yes.
the way it is. So I have to answer or supply the market as the market requires. So to this gentleman who's asking questions, who talking about other things, they're not going to listen to you.
No,
man, you got to provide what the market needs.
Yeah, and you know, a cab driver used to invest, right? How much money can I make by next Thursday? Basically, how can I solve the problem that I'm having as quickly as possible? That's what they're paying you for. I don't pay a plumber to talk about filtered water, right? No, man, I got a leak, okay, or I got a rusty pipe. It needs to be replaced, you know, because I need to take a dump within, you know, sometime during this day. Okay, you got to fix this problem as fast as possible. That's what I'm paying you for. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. This is the problem I have. This is why I said, like, okay, I say to you guys in the class, you need to be focused on providing a solution on the platform.
Yes.
Yeah, because that's how those platforms, and they're looking for that solution only, and they'll pay money for that. But outside of that, they're not going to pay anything.
Yeah. Like recently, I think maybe last week, right? I was trying to go on live, and StreamYard wouldn't let me. Is because it didn't have enough resources allotted to it from Amazon to stream it. Okay, so I said, okay, this is probably Mookie's department. Okay, they need to get the cloud engineers to actually get more resources, supply it, so that they bring the asset back up. So I said, okay, this is what Mookie's talking about. Okay,
that was silly. When I heard about that, I was just like, oh, that's an easy solution too. That's just Terraform. What are they doing?
Well, somebody dropped the ball, or the load was particularly heavy that day, because it was right when when Israel went after Iran. So I'm sure everybody wanted to get on. So that's probably it's probably overwhelmed the system temporarily.
So they're supposed to have scaling for that. So you actually an automatic, like in the code, you say, hey, look, we get this much traffic coming in, automatically start scaling up. And it's not a hard thing to do. And if they don't have that in there, that's on them. And that's why I tell the students all the time, like, they think all these companies are all so advanced and they have all this management. I'm like, no, they're not. They don't know what they're doing, and they don't have the basics, fundamentals, like scale in the cloud.
Right.
So let's work on that. That's what actually work on the beginning. Make sure you can actually do that, because that's what the company needs.
Okay. TB says, I'm 62% done with my cloud computing degree from WGU, over 16 certs included in the degree plan, but I still may go through Theo's course after hearing this. I mean, you know, whether you know, even if you get a job, okay, and everybody tells you this, even if you get the job and you just got out of school or got your cert, whatever it is, they still have to teach you how to do the job, right? Okay. What Theo's doing is teaching you how to do the job first. Okay.
Right.
Theo's saying, okay, like 90% of what the job will entail is these things. Okay. And that's what he emphasizes on. Right. Okay. Now I had to tell my nephew, the other supporting things that you probably will need to know. Okay. You're going to have to go out and get it from a class. Like my nephew, he signed up for some classes on Udemy. Okay.
Right.
I said, Theo is teaching you how to do the job, but the other supporting material, you're going to have to go, you don't have to do your homework. Okay.
Right. That's why I give them homework in the class.
Yes.
And then I tell them, I say, okay, this is for the job, and then this is for the test.
Yes.
And this is, okay, this part is stupid because we're never going to do this.
Yeah.
Like, but the for the test, I think this is really a big thing, but it's not.
Yeah.
So basically, like 1 hour before the test, you need to become a savant on nothing. And like, just be really good at it and just come in and like ace the nothings, and then come back and say, okay, coming to reality, I'm never going to use like 90% of what I just tested on. I'm only going to use this 10%, make sure I'm good at this 10%.
That's where the 80-20 rule actually comes in, right? Okay. 80% of the knowledge that, you know, I'm not saying it's all bad, okay, because that 20% could be part of the 80%, depending on what sector that you're in, okay. But the thing is, 80% of knowledge is only 20% of the knowledge actually used in your job on a day-to-day basis. Okay, it's repetition. Okay, you hone it down to what the job actually entails on a day-to-day basis. That's what Mookie actually does.
Yeah, I really focus on them, like that. You got to know this. Like, there are certain sections you really have to know. For example, scaling.
Yeah,
you need to know how scaling works, or else why are you in the cloud? Like, just stop. just go home, do something else. McDonald's is there, go get a job there, right? This scaling is why we have cloud. So I really focus on that, and then I focus on scaling for containers. And that's another, that's a later part of the course. But if you get good on both those scaling areas and you know the policies around thinking about it, you have a job, 6 figures. That's it, because that's what the companies need.
Yeah.
But there's something, again, my students will know this. Like, there's something called Elastic Beanstalk on AWS. I hate Elastic Beanstalk. It's worthless. I've never seen it on a JD. I've never had a recruiter call out and say, "Can you do Elastic Beanstalk?" No, but it's on the stupid test, and so I have to tell them, okay, go read it, but I'm not touching this in class.
You know what? I think what it is okay. I forget what band it was. Okay, and they would always send a contract out, right? And at the very last bit of it, right, they said, "Okay, we want all red M&Ms in a container," right? So that's when we walk in, right? And I said it wasn't that the M&Ms were important. What they wanted to test for is whether you read the whole contract. So when they walk in into their dressing room, right? If those M&Ms are not there, they said, "Okay, now we have to check what's missing," because they didn't read through the whole contract. So I think something like elastic jelly beans means, okay, how much of the material did they actually study, even though they will never use it?
I guess so. I mean, it's mind numbing because we actually have to study. It's like other people have these courses on it. They actually put it on there. I'm like, it's worthless. You'll never do anything.
Yeah, you will never use it, but they want to see, did you actually go through the material? Okay.
Yeah. Okay, fine. I'll go through and help you out.
So when they test you, it said, okay, this person actually read what they said they read.
Yeah.
That's why I compared to, I forget what band it was, but thing is, I said, they asked me, okay, why did you put that in your contract? He said they want to actually make sure that they read through the whole contract for the concert, right? So they put it at the very end, okay? And so it's something very obvious. When you walk in, when they walked in, they can tell that they didn't read through the whole contract. I said, okay, now I have to go see if they missed the important stuff in the contract. If they didn't, they didn't worry about it. But the thing is, that was a signal to them that there may be something that they missed.
That's a little tricky, but that actually makes sense. A little gotcha. I don't like those. Because you're talking about your life. So you have to be attentive to it because it's food, rent, things like that. But and this is why I usually look at somebody and say, okay, do you enjoy being white? Do you have other things to do with your life? I'm black. I have to deal with life as it is. It's already hard enough. So
that's why I give my 6 rules, man. Okay, if you do those 6 things, I'm fine. Okay, I don't care whatever else you do. Okay, as long as I don't see it. Okay, exactly. Do these 6 things, we good. Okay, make it very simple.
Make it practical. I need to do the work, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, again, in the class, guys, we really focus on these points.
Okay.
Now we are going to be in the next class, which is class 7. We're going to be focusing now. This is a new part with AI, which is the cloud native implementation of AI.
Okay.
How you do that to enhance what we were doing traditionally.
Okay.
And so that's going to be a new part to it. So I'm already working on these things, but how you actually implement machine learning and AI systems like Amazon Bedrock, for example, in order to look at your infrastructure and maintain your infrastructure and give you recommendations about how to improve the systems. That's going to be coming up in the next class, which is going to be kind of cool. Now, for the guys who don't know anything, just don't have cloud, don't have any idea. For my guys who are actually been in class, they have certifications, they have Terraform, they're working, they understand what's going on. Well, that's going to be the actual development of AI systems for real.
Okay.
And making your own LLM within the company. But then ultimately it's going to be, how do you make an LLM for yourself?
Okay.
You're going to enhance you in your career so that every job you go to, you always have this repository of continually growing information to help you become a more skilled and more dedicated engineer.
I got to hook you up with another sub of mine. He's in actually in Mississippi, right? And he is experimenting with how to build LLMs on old hardware from scratch.
Yeah,
in his home. So I have to hook you up with him.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm running right here. I've got one machine running with 1 terabyte of memory,
and
it's for LLM development. And yeah, it's fun. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, spoken like a true geek, man. It's great. you got to have a mindset to actually want to experiment with these things, right? And everybody's not that. So
yeah,
which is why most women are not involved in this stuff, because they don't have the makeup to actually be interested in that kind of stuff.
So I mean, think of it. Okay, so
Albert. Oh, you're here, Albert. Okay. He's the guy. Yeah.
Hey, Albert, how you doing? Ping me. Go to Ninja Person. Get contact information. Let's talk. All right. But I'm going to be spending $15,000 in September on a machine that'll have 4 terabytes of memory.
Okay.
Right. So it's going to be really like high level, but it's going to be running for LLM and on my own private cloud.
Because he's saying he's using the guy, how he's setting up. He's setting it up on like 10, 11-year-old hardware. Okay. From scratch. Okay. And where it's cheaper, it's easier. And because the stuff that you're putting it on, it's not really intensive like that. But he explained it to me, but briefly. But I'm saying he probably can go more into detail with you, because he actually set up a couple already.
You got to work on it. But one of the foundations for this is Python. There's Saul in the chat, the International Python. Who's in your chat right now? But he's one of the Python teachers, and does a really great job of doing that introduction to Python. So I make the students do, like, you actually have to have some Python in there before I can actually start dealing with you. Because if we're going to do this design for the LLM, you're doing some programming, not just some, but you're doing a lot.
Yeah.
And I need you to know how to go to a repo and go pull information, sanitize it, and go deploy it as whatever you need for the AI system. Okay, well, that means you need to know what you're doing.
Right. You need to know what the component does, and in case you get the gotchas, you got to know what the gotchas are.
Right. Exactly. And how do you troubleshoot?
Yeah. So, Ooh, it was like 90% of the same of the whole troubleshooting. Right. Okay. Why am I getting showstoppers? Yeah.
Yeah. Sitting out there at 2:00 in the morning. No idea. Just
with your Diet Coke and no those, huh?
Like, I make like $600,000 a year. I'm troubleshooting it. Like, you get at 2 a.m. Like you said.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna get laid. I'm never gonna get. I have no time. I'm trying to figure this out.
It's 2:00 in the morning. They're gonna be calling me at 5 in the morning. How come this shit doesn't work?
It doesn't work at all. Like, I'm preparing for my class. I had this whole lesson plan set up, and it's gonna be great. And then I deploy it first just to make sure it's screwed up. One part that's off, I'm like, great.
You look at the screen like, really?
Yeah, exactly.
Really?
It have to be that way. Like, what?
Really?
A white space? Really?
Really?
So Vic didn't tell me that. It didn't. Nobody had to tell me there was just a space there, or it's a period or a comma, something like that. That's all it was.
Yeah. Oh, C used to kill me with that, man.
Oh yeah.
Just a comma, man. It's like, really?
Yeah.
I don't get no grace, really?
Well, I remember doing C in high school.
Yeah.
And my friends are going out, like, they're doing football and sex drugs.
Rock and roll, yeah.
And I'm just doing this late at night, and I would be like that at high school. I'd be like, really?
Yeah.
Like so this for the stupid program, I didn't get to go out on a date. I didn't get to do this or that or have fun because of like this stupid part of the program that wasn't even documented. I didn't even know about, and I had to sit there and recompile it again, right, and try to figure it out. And my friends are all like, yeah, we were having fun with Jennifer last night. Oh, yeah, she was really great. I'm like, is it a program?
And you're trying to catch a nap, man, because you just spent all night banger trying to find one little small this fucking stop the code.
Yeah. So I went into university the same way. I'm just sitting there programming all the time and doing my foreign languages and studying time and seeing my friends go on and have this great time. And of course the girls were saying like they were dating older guys because they're more successful, blah blah blah.
Yeah, because they have money,
right.
and disposable cash. Okay, that's what it is. Yeah, I came up during the crack era, man. I know what that is, man. Disposable cash. Okay, if you got it, they love you.
I'll think of it like, okay, so like every semester, my university gave me a minimum of $1,000.
Okay,
and that was in my pocket, and that was after everything else, like all my expenses. Where'd that $1,000 go towards? The bookstore.
Yeah. You're horrible, man. You are a geek, man. The bookstore? Really?
That's all I went. I went to the bookstore. Once I hit my account, I was like, boom, right there.
You're horrible, man. I thought I was the only one. The book, really, Mookie?
Right.
The bookstore?
Yeah, so I go get all the books that I need, and then I had a part-time job, so I could buy more books, right? And so I had all the books in my dorm room, and my parents would come out, and they're like, well, why don't you go out with the girl? And I'm like, well, because that girl is $20. Like the date is going to be $20 minimum, right? And even though you guys think that's cheap, the manual that I need is at least 15, if not 25 to 30. This is in the early 90s, right? And I'm like, I need a few of these, and I need the money. I can't afford the girl. I have to study for the.
And the $20 is just the beginning of because the hours you have to put in with her and entertain her. So
right.
4 or 5 hours, okay, on top of that.
I don't have time for it. I have a minimum wage job. I needed to go out and buy books, and then I was hopeful. Like, of course, back in those times, there's no eBay or internet, so you're hoping that the used bookstores have a textbook that's like the gold standard for something.
Oh yeah,
right. And then you can get it, or you can say like, okay, like you go to the bookstore owner and say, look, it's $35. I can pay it on Friday. It's Wednesday today. Please keep it in the bag, please. Please, I have to have this. And they're like looking at you funny. I'm like, please.
Albert, if you want to come up and talk to him, man, you might be working, but if you want to come up and talk to him, I'll allow you to guys to come up and talk to him.
Yeah.
So just let me know. But you got a wrench. You can put in anything you want, Albert. You got a wrench.
Yeah.
Albert's one of my day one, so.
So that was my life when I was in university. I didn't have.
I mean, you know what? Basically, a black mother would. This is what a black mother tells the girls. Okay. So exactly what you're doing. They I don't know why they tell the boys different stuff, but this is what they tell the girls. Don't worry about sex. Don't worry about boys. Go study, get your career, and get yourself set. Okay. But they love it when girls do it. They don't like it when boys do it because boys are supposed to go out and have fun and entertain them. Okay.
Yeah, that was what my mom was all about. She's like, why aren't you going out with the girls? And
yes, and entertaining them, right?
And I was looking at my mom like, you have no idea. Like, you really don't understand what I'm doing, do you? No, she didn't.
No, she didn't.
Thought I was like some sort of mutant. And I was like, no.
Damn, Yuki. I don't know. I still don't believe that you're human, but you haven't convinced me yet.
My dad knew what I was doing because he was a researcher.
Yes. And
so I learned how to research from him.
Yeah.
Again, you see the books, right? Same kind of idea. I researched my points. So if I couldn't buy the book, I had to go to a library and hopefully to get that or have it sent from University of Chicago or some other university library in Illinois to University of Illinois Champaign-Urbana. And so I would be sitting there constantly studying, constantly working, right? And my dad was, oh yeah, he's improving himself. Yeah.
That's what I sent him to school for. Okay.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So he was like, yeah, you didn't get laid in high school? Good. You're my son. That's not
I ain't go that far, but you know, I have my priorities. But the thing is, I was gonna get a little bit. I didn't have to get a lot, but a little bit. Yeah.
If you could think about, like, again, the poverty, I'm growing up in the Rust Belt, basically. And, if you screw up,
Oh,
my,
yeah. That's
I
true.
agree. My dad and I agreed on this. The quickest path of poverty was between a woman's legs. And so just don't go there. That was it. And the second one was drugs.
Yeah. Oh,
So
yeah.
don't go there. Don't do anything. So I went to school on full scholarship, right?
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, the price I paid was so high, which is unbelievable. I didn't really start detoxing and start becoming like communicative until I was 21, 22 years old.
Okay.
Until then, it was just books.
Yeah, it's hard. There is a mix that you can incorporate. Okay. I'm trying to train my grandson that. Okay. So what I used to try to do for my kids is find how to make them an expert in what they're doing the fastest way possible. Okay. So you could have some balance. Okay. And in other words, I said you can work slowly and take your time, and it takes this amount of time, and you can't do other things. The other hand, you can actually work really intensely for a short period of time, become an expert, and then you don't have to worry about it for the rest of your life, right? Like I was telling my grandson, instead of taking 3 or 4 years to learn your timetables, do it in 6 weeks. Okay, do it really intensely, learn it, memorize it, and it'll stay with you for the rest of your life. Instead of waiting, you're trying to learn it over time the way they teach you over the period of 2, 3 years. Take 6 weeks, learn it, and move on.
That's how I was first, second grade.
Yeah.
Give it to me. Let's get it done now.
Get it done fast. You become an expert. And how do you call in? Okay, it's not a call in. Okay, we don't call in on this show. Basically, now some people, unless you really have some expertise in an exchange, I'll allow you up. But saying this is an interview, it's not a call in. Okay.
We could probably do a call in another show. One of your brother.
I mean, if you want to, but the thing is, you have to want to, and then I set it up. But
okay. All right.
But this is for you to get your information out, and they can listen to you. If they want more information, information, they can actually contact you or Ninja Person or Jules, because Jules and Ninja Person probably knows about as much as this stuff is Mookie does. So
yeah, I give them a lot of the lowdown to get the advanced stuff.
Yeah.
The real theoretical advanced stuff that I do inside the office, where there's failure, I don't teach it to the class.
But the thing is that most people at that level, if they're calling in and asking you questions, then they're not at that level anyway. They wouldn't understand what you're talking about. You'd be talking Martian mush, yeah. Yeah.
So that's the stuff that I've been doing with AI for the last year. That's coming into the class in September, October. And I'm actually putting the proper structure into it.
Yeah.
One of the good things is that there's actual materials now. Whereas before last year I was trying to teach AI and there really wasn't that many materials.
Right.
And I just saw the gap between where the students were, where the market was, where the material support was too far away.
Yeah, because most of these people are still figuring it out because there's not much there. And most of the people that really know AI, you have PhDs in mathematics. Okay.
Exactly. And so I understand some of the math there, right? But I'm like, okay, from a practical point of view, I need to implement this and this analysis within security within the data.
Yeah.
How do I get that done?
Yeah.
I figured that out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's more of how do you get something done?
Right. And in other words, the tools are developed. What tools will work in this particular? Like, okay, I don't need a spanner. I need a wrench. Okay, or I need a socket or something like that. I need a screwdriver. Right. What tool will work in this environment or to solve this particular problem?
Right. Exactly. And what to avoid. Right. And then what we should focus on to improve. Now those answers are becoming more clear. And so I have something where I can fundamentally teach the students how to use AI to improve the cloud, improve the network. Also, there's another certification I'll be working on, which is for Cisco, and it's actually how you design the data center for AI hardware.
Yeah, and Monster Cameron, that's bullshit because everybody I listen to or talk to about AI, okay, they have to go back to school to actually for mathematics, okay, and machine learning, okay.
Right.
highly intensive mathematics. Okay, and once they develop the tools, you can actually use the tools. Okay,
Right.
it's like somebody using like Python, right, without knowing like C or C sharp. Okay, you can use the tools, but things actually understand the structure. You got to the underlying structure. You have to know C or C sharp. Okay, got to know how to program that shit. Okay, programming that shit is not easy.
Correct. So
Okay.
what he's saying is like he's a data scientist and ML ops. What I do is AI SecOps, basically. So
Yeah.
AI, it's a security operations, but within AI, and actually AI using that within security operations.
Yeah. The experimental level, you got to know math. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The experimental level, you got to know math. Okay, sorry. Okay, you do.
Yeah.
Because universe is saying the exact same thing because he's going through it, right? Okay, you got to know your math. There's no way around it.
Yeah.
I'm listening to people with at MIT, at Harvard, at Caltech, and even some people that are going back to school to actually understand this stuff. Said they got to go back and redo their math in machine language. Okay, very intensive. And I saw the books. As one chick, she's out of England, right? I saw the books that she had to lay out just to go back and learn this shit. Okay, it's not easy. Okay.
Oh, one.
Yeah.
Two. These are the easy ones.
Yeah, those are easy ones. Yeah, generative AI. Yeah.
I got like stuff like this, right?
Yeah.
The mathematical ones, I keep them in other places so I don't go insane.
Yeah, like you get into generative AI, you got to know your math, okay? Which is the stuff, okay?
Yeah. And so that kind of stuff, I'm like, okay, so I know other people are going to like work on that. They get to a certain point, and then they get the tools, and I can start implementing the tools or know how to do the connections correctly. Okay, that's a problem.
Once like somebody like Mookie develops the tools, okay, and explains you how to implement the tools, that's a different thing, okay? That's a different thing.
Yeah.
But after that, the tools have already been developed, okay? Just like when like your libraries in C, C sharp, or whatever language that you use, right? There are libraries that have been written already, okay? So the
correct.
Just okay, I need a crescent wrench, or I need a star screwdriver or something like that. Let me go into the library and actually find it and plug it in, okay?
Right, yeah. So you already want your functions, your libraries already to be there.
Right.
If you're having to do your own development there,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You trying to roll your own? Yeah. Yeah, you better know what you're doing. Say, hey, Theo, trying to learn digital job. What is the best to start with? Data analyst, IT, or cyber? Plus, started with no experience at CompTIA. Basically, okay, if you basically Theo does, I mean, you can learn the stuff. If there's certain things that apply to the job that you will do, he'll tell you exactly what those things are. Okay, and what he says is basically this is an apprenticeship. Okay. Not a class. You come in, and what he demonstrates, okay, just like imagine your first day at work. Okay, you come in, you're gonna be a cloud engineer, right? Okay, these are the things that you need to set up first, second, third, fourth, and actually do the job as they want you to do the job. Now, the supporting material, you got to go read. Okay, he will tell you exactly what those are, and then they're different depending on what platform that you're using.
Yeah, so I'll tell, for example, the students, I'll say, like, this RFC you need to know, and this is why you need to know it, and I'll explain it in the class, and I'll tell them, for example, you're going to implement this RFC here. I show them in the prompts where they're going to do it, and then say, for the interview, again, with dual speech ops, for the interview, you need to talk about this, and about this RFC, and if you don't do it, you're going to fail. And you'd be surprised how many students look at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, I'm not crapping you. This is how it works, and if you don't do this, you will fail the interview.
Yeah.
They go in there, they do their thing, and they come back 6 months later or so, like, oh, I should have listened to you. I'm like, well, what do you want?
I mean, you know, basically, it's like a chef telling you, if you don't know how to stir fry, you're not gonna get the job. Okay.
Yeah. So what? So me losing my job or having this problem in 1999 or 2001, like, I had these issues. I actually stepped in the hole already. I didn't know it was a hole before, but I learned it. I tell you what to do, and then you decide not to do it. Like, what? What's your problem? Like, do you have to step in the hole yourself? Okay, get my popcorn back out here and watch you step in the hole. All right, like you look real smart there doing that. I not to do it. So there are some students though who really do take the notes of what I say, especially when I say it again and again and again, and they actually come back and do the work and they get the jobs.
So what is up with these black female tech grifters? They don't engineer, or if they do, it's in front end, or they hate their job, or they are project manager analysts. It's getting cringe. Basically, for the most part, to compete with China, compete with Asia, they have to not hire these people. A lot of these, all them 20,000 people just start getting laid off of Microsoft or Google or wherever. Those were those people. Okay.
Yeah. I have seen
those people. Yeah.
Fired from the job or get laid off, their position gone.
Yeah.
And AI is coming in and basically just eliminating
the thing is, they could have done this years ago, but the thing is they held off. Okay. But thing is now they have to compete. They have to streamline. Okay. Like Microsoft, they said they're going to save like maybe over the next 5 years, $3 trillion by doing this.
Yeah. It actually makes sense. They're going for the engineers who don't know what they're doing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They can go get a job someplace else.
Yeah. If you're an engineer and you come up with a gotcha, okay, you better know what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah.
You better know what you're doing because as long as things push button and everything's running right, you're good. The thing is, if you get a gotcha, like Theo says, Theo teaches you where the gotchas are, don't know how to solve them gotchas, your job is in trouble. Okay.
Yeah.
Or you're going to have to pull a whole weekend, man, trying to figure that shit out. Okay.
Yeah. Months or sit there, hate life. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And as students will know, I put the students into gotcha situations.
Yes.
Right. So I'm like, you have to figure it out. So there's Ninja Person. Go ahead. You can read it.
Okay. I was a CompTIA guy in the group, and after getting the top CompTIA cert, CASP plus, Theo told me it was worthless. I swallowed my pride, joined his class, and within 2 months, I saw an exponential value compared to CompTIA.
Yeah. So that was the story that happened. So he did. I remember when he talked to me about his CompTIA experience, I looked him straight in the face and said, "Your certs are worthless."
Yes.
And everything that you're doing can be outsourced to somebody else in India for like 25% of what you're being paid. So have nothing. And he looked at me like, what the hell? I'm like, I'm not playing with you. You don't have anything. And he did the work. He's one of my best lieutenants right now. Now that guy, man, there's a cloud issue, there's an automation issue, he gets it. Right? His value, he's worth about $250,000 easy in the market right now. And that's because he put in the work and he didn't stay at a dogmatic level with CompTIA where you see so many black engineers. And it has frustrated me for years on end where CompTIA comes in and gives this bullshit to these black engineers, and they think, oh, I can just do this basic stuff and get it 60,000. I can just sit there and have a career. I'm like, no, fool, man. All you're doing is training up the requirements for a job that can be outsourced to India. That's it. And now they're training out they're basically figuring out everything that needs to be done so that AI can do it. That's all they're doing with their position. Especially if they sit there and become stagnant, nobody needs them. It's hard for these guys to accept the reality. Where I was like, this is it. Like I'm telling you what you actually need to know in the office. This is reality right here. And
it's at some point, AI will come in and replace you.
Yep.
At some point, which is what's happening right now. Why are there few black CTOs at startups? Should black men in tech try to become CTOs at their current companies or start their own company?
Well,
some of it is race, but a lot of it is we don't train enough people at the bottom that can become CTOs. Okay, that's probably the biggest reason. Okay, and a lot of the guys like Theo, they could be CTOs, make more money elsewhere.
Correct. Yeah, I do better not being a CTO, but also guys have to understand that the CEO or the founder of the company probably comes from Stanford, Harvard, MIT, Berkeley.
Yeah.
Right. And that's usually going to be Asian or white guy or Indian.
Yeah.
So they're going to take their friends and put them in to be the CTO, and that's not going to be you.
Yeah.
That's why. Yeah. So 160,000 per year, that's pretty good. That's what you really want to go to. Who do you listen to? Listen to those who have what you want and those who've been where you are, Theo. Yeah. That's that's listen to it that way. That's why I listened to you, BGS, because you were talking about things that I wanted to avoid.
Okay.
And I especially the dark element of being black, especially black male. I didn't want to listen to. I wanted to totally avoid it. Use my intelligence or something else to get around it.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, no, man, this is reality. You have to,
you have to, you have to be able to work around your, whatever the I won't say limitation, but the thing is the material that you have. Okay.
Right.
In some ways it'll help you. In some ways it's going to hurt you.
Right. But if it does hurt you, you can recover. Yeah. You're stronger because of it. And I had to go through, that was 18 months. I had to go through my own journey with you. And I always tell my students, you're going to have to go through your journey with me in my class.
Yes.
I'm going to roughen you up and toughen you. But when you get out in the market and you start interviewing, you're going to be ready. So I want you making money. I want you to be able to stand on your own and not be thinking like, they don't like me because I'm black. I want them to think like everybody wants you because you solve a problem.
Yes.
Right.
And white guys love people, I don't care what color they are, that solves problems for them.
Yeah. They're like, they will hire you like this. Like, thank you.
And they will become your best buddy. I'm gonna follow this guy around because he knows what he's doing. And they will. Okay?
Yep.
Almost like an appendix. A white guy that believes in you is hard to get rid of.
And they're totally useful. So you want those in your network. And when I got out of my poverty, it really was with those kind of guys, because I would go for interviews and doing consulting gigs and I would solve all the problems. And these white guys were like, yeah, I can throw Theo at this project and this project and make money here and there with Theo. Let's do it. And well, I stopped being homeless for that. Yeah. I started I had food on the table. I could feed my dogs.
Yeah. Albert, I will ask you, send you Theo, Ninja Persons, Jules's, and Password OG's email. Okay. You can contact them behind the scene if you want to.
So I think my org is hella ESG. Okay.
Yeah. So many Indians, Asians, a lot of Jamaicans, SWEs, races, and if you know what you're doing, race is not a blocker. Okay. Can it slow you down in certain places? But thing is, it's not a blocker. Okay. Ultimately, if you know what you're doing, basically, they don't care what color you are.
Yep. Yeah. They really don't. There's like, get the job done.
Get the job done. Yeah. Yeah. They don't care. The thing is, if you follow the cookie cutter model where I'm dependent on my friends to get me in and keep me a job, okay, that's where the problem comes in. There's a lot of, even in IT, I don't care where you go. Okay. Where you go, what field it is, there's always people that are followers. Okay. I depend on the guy in that position to tell me exactly what to do to actually keep my job instead of becoming better. Okay.
Right. And then you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose at the end.
You're gonna lose your job. Okay. Then you have to be likable to keep your job. Right. And what Theo's trying to do is teach you. It doesn't matter where you can be an asshole. Okay. But your asshole that solves a fucking problem, they're gonna keep you around because they have to.
Yeah. So yeah, that's fundamentals, guys.
Because I was a sub of mine. He's in UX, okay, and they came in and they were firing people, right? And I said, until the project's finished, you're gonna be the last person to get fired. He said, why? Because you're the only one that knows how the shit works. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
You'll be the last one to go. Okay.
Yeah. I got a guy like that in the office right now. He's indispensable. He knows things about the environment I just don't know. I can't replicate. So I'm like, I don't care if he's a contractor or anything. I don't care about his price. Whatever it is, sign the contract. So we can't get things to work on.
Okay. Well, that MX, that is not a tech problem. Okay, that is a personal problem, and your future wife. Okay. The thing is, when I talk about women, okay, especially with picking women. Okay, first thing I ask the guys, what are the top 10 things you want out of that woman? Okay, regardless of what it is. Okay, a lot of guys list things that are not really important, to the list. They find, oh shit, okay, I left something out that was really should have been number one, because that's an individual thing about your wife and how much money you make. How much money you make is not an issue unless you want a certain status of woman. Okay. How much you make, because Mookie can tell you, there's people like I was in Guatemala, right? There's women that are perfectly happy living in a shack with you. Okay, they are perfectly happy. A little tin shack with your little kids and stuff like that on a dirt floor. They're perfectly happy. Okay, just what do you want? Okay.
Yeah, so from a personal point of view, again, when I was in Japan with my Japanese wife, she had a clue what I did. I looked at her like she was a space alien or something.
Right. Yeah, she didn't care because her engaging with what you did was not important to you.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm with a Ukrainian right now. She has no clue, but she's like, "You're going through a lot of stress." Like,
yeah.
How was the stress reduction? Name of children, things like that. That's what she
yeah. It depends on what will make you happy, because even in America, right? Okay, 90% of the women that I dated didn't have a clue about what I thought. Okay,
right.
But the thing is, that wasn't necessary.
Yeah, no, you're correct. My father, even to his last dying day, he had no idea what I was doing. No. I told him I was doing security, and he thought for sure I was doing physical security. Do IT security. I'm like, I was a 5th CISSP in Japan, which is Certified Information Systems Security Professional. I'm like, I'm the 5th one, and he had no clue what that was. It was like I was speaking to him in Chinese. I'm like, man.
Yeah, I get that with my family. That's like I'm speaking to them in Chinese. It's like, okay, so I wait for them to come to me. Okay, I need this problem solved. What do you know? And I give them the answer.
Right. Yeah.
That makes them happy.
Yeah, because this is this AI security book in Japanese. So I read these because I started my career in Japan, and to my dad, something like this, impossible.
Yeah,
I made that all up. So I had to look at him and say, okay, Dad, you're kind of older. I'll go with you with your, like, if you want that world, you have to know what I'm doing.
And most people in Japan can't read the book either, so don't feel bad.
Yeah, that's right. Doesn't matter language.
And we got about 10 more minutes, Mookie. We're gonna get out of here, and we're gonna let you go back to your
studies. Yeah, the classes. So the thing that I want to tell the guys, first off, is that the class is open. The class starts September.
Okay.
It's a conclave, so you guys are open to come in. Now, I won't be accepting new students next year, and that's because I don't have the bandwidth to deal with new students. And we really need to go through an AI transformation in the group. This is going to take some development time. It's going to take some real work.
Yeah. So
I don't have time to deal with someone who, thinking they can't do it because they're black. I'm like, you don't have time to, you can't afford the time to sit there and be sedentary. The water's coming from you. NR is going to leave without you.
Yeah. The bear will eat you. Okay.
Yeah, the bear will eat you, but it's not going to eat me. So I'm out. Yeah. So the guys who are willing to do the work and to get on the boat and actually do this, they're going to have jobs.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of opportunity with AI to have a really strong career. I'm like $300,000 a year is not going to be hard to attain.
Yeah.
But you have to go in and do the work and actually understand the process. And that's one of the big things. That's why we're taking 2 years for this. There's a lot of sections in there that we're working on. For the guys who are interested, of course, there's links in there. Just know that one of the reasons why we are broadcasting this in June is that there will be a price increase in July. And then there'll be another one in August. So we're telling you now, sign up while you still can, while it's still cheap. And so most of these courses that we're doing, like you get, okay, so like 8 weeks at like MIT is $2,500.
Yeah.
This is,
and that's on the cheap side. Yeah.
right. This is 2 years, $750.
Yeah.
And I teach 3 times a week. I mean, I'm like, yo, bro, man, the price that I'm charging you was so ridiculous.
And this is more like a graduate course than it is a undergrad course.
Yeah, undergrad. They're so stupid right now. Oh, they're horrible.
Oh God, the education system has gotten so bad. We have people that are in Ivy League class schools that can't read or can't read a whole book.
Yeah, last time I was in Boston, I went to MIT's bookstore. I looked at their CS department, and I was like, "You guys have got to be like, you should be ashamed of yourselves."
Okay, Ninja Person just put the link to the Facebook class, Facebook group. Okay, hit that link if you want to get more information. You just put it up.
Yeah. My university has a pretty good department right now. They're the 5th in the country, and we compete with MIT. But what I saw before that, I was like, man. So yeah, so I do bring a pretty high level bit of knowledge into the class, and then I have a certain level of conversation decorum in the class. You learn how to depend on your brother. You know, respect your brother, and you also learn that you don't know everything, and neither does your brother. So you're working together. You're not competing with each other much per se, but you're working together. Yeah. And if you have that mentality, you're going to be successful.
Yeah, yeah.
If you think it's you against the world, you're going to have a hard time with life anyway. You're going to have a hard time in the class. That's not the way the class is designed.
If you were that kind of person, and there are people out there like that, you would already know who you are. Those kind of people already know who they are. Like Linus Torvald, okay? You would know who you are already, okay? And those people are extremely rare.
So we're trying to get the guys in there who are willing to do the work, be humble, fail, but learn from failure and be successful afterwards and strong.
Yeah.
And plenty of guys in the class who are making 6 figures, who had gone through this process, and they're my senior guys, and they're making money. They're buying houses. They're buying cars, not with debt, with cash. Right? And they can talk to some of these guys and say, yeah, you're supposed to go through this process. Listen to what the teachers are saying to you. We're telling you these things for a reason.
Okay. Shannon Green, if you go back and look and search for Maker Monday, the first time with Theo, what was it? Law came on. Law was a carpenter. Okay. He didn't know IT from a can of paint. Okay. He's making 180 grand, I do believe, his last job. Okay.
Yep.
So you can't be a blank canvas. The thing is, I always say how much dog is in you. Okay. Because Law had a lot more dogs than knowledge. Okay. So he actually toughed his way through the whole thing. Right. But came out on the other side. How bad do you actually want this? And that's what it's going to come down to.
Those are the guys I like. I like the guys who just say they don't care.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you, my first successful student, right? His job was so horrible. I'm not even going to say, but he had a horrible job in New York. He was treated horribly. And he just said, what do I have to do? So I showed him everything he had to do in order to get into cloud security. He did all of it. And then I said, well, for the interviews, since you're going to fail in the interviews, we're going to learn how to do the interviews.
Yeah.
Because how do I improve? So I showed him the Udemy's to take, the books to take, the white papers to read, all that. Did all of it. He got a job straight out.
Yeah.
Then, so he was making 6 figures. I told him, I said, you can't leave the country yet, but you're probably fail your first job right now because you're going a little too fast, but I'll help you. So he got his first job, failed it. In 3 months, he got fired. But he got a second and a third job and kept on going, didn't care. I helped him out. Within 1 year, he was making $250,000 a year. He went to Japan, never came back to the country.
Yeah. How I think it was addressed one of Theo's classes, right? Okay. If you want inspiration, go look at Quincy Hall running the 400 meters during the Olympics, right? Okay. He's in 5th place in fading. He came back and won that in the last 100 meters, right? He said, you can't outrun a dog, okay?
No.
You cannot outrun. You have enough dog, you will actually get through this. Okay.
Yeah, but you have to have dog, guy. You've got to be like, you got to keep on going. You're not going to give up. And yeah, Stoic Nomad just says, he's still over there. Yes. Not only is he still over there, he writes me letters in Japanese, like proper Japanese, not like this BS I see from other people. He actually writes to me in authentic Japanese, which means he's actually acquiring the culture and he's learning. But I want to say, see, he came from like my background because I was treated like crap in America and I had all kinds of problems.
Right.
When I went to Japan, I had an opportunity and I was like, I'm taking it.
Yeah.
This is all I have to do, get some certifications, learn my Japanese, and I can date this fly chica over here, and I can have my own apartment and I have my own washing machine and dryer. Where do I go? Okay, this is what I do. I have to keep on studying, put a certain amount of my salary every month into continuous education.
Yeah.
Done. No questions asked. I mean, that was it. It was an easy thing. Whereas you have other people complaining, I'm like, you don't want it.
You don't want it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want it. Yeah. You don't want it. The one thing the standard school system teaches, if you do X, Y, and Z, you get A, B, and C. Okay. And that's it. Okay. What thing is, for the top level people, it doesn't work that way. Got to have some dog.
I want to learn how to learn.
Yes.
I want to learn the methodology of learning. And then once I have that, I can learn in any environment. And that's what I acquired when I was in university and high school. And other people were there just because, like, one and done. That's all they're gonna do. And those guys, AI comes in, they're out.
Yeah, they're out. Yeah,
they can't retrain. They can't do anything. I got one of my good friends from high school. He was so much better programmer than me. Kicked my butt all the time, right? He didn't retrain. Now he just lost his job and he can't do anything. And I'm looking at him like, you are so much better than me. Oh, you didn't upgrade over the last 18 years. That's why. Yeah.
Now you have to start from scratch. Okay.
Yeah.
The things you already know how to. You're not starting at the bottom. Things you have to retrain. Okay. How badly do you want it?
So if you guys can, people who are in my class, if you look at class 1 compared to what I'm doing with class 7, you'll see every single time I teach the class, it's different. I have a different emphasis. There's something new that I'm adding to the class. And that's because I'm understanding what we call the blue ocean, and I'm modifying the class to follow the blue ocean because I'm like, hey, look, if you really want to get that top dollar, these are the skills you're going to need to know now. So let's go over to direction.
Yeah. My things with the fast camper, right? Okay. I keep reading that 60% of your population can't even read. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
60% can't even read. Okay.
When I have students who are having like something read to them, where they're trying to get a YouTube to read an RFC to them or something.
Yeah. How you gonna do code if you can't read?
Oh, why? Oh, this lost mine.
That means you got to go back and learn how to read.
No, I don't get it. It's so fun to read. Why don't you do it?
Most people don't. Most people are not readers, and that's the problem. They're not readers. Okay. I remember when I was 6, right, first grade reader. I read all the books within a couple of weeks. Just went through the whole. Because I wanted to read.
Yeah. One of the ways I read books, usually I read it from the back. I read it first.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I want to know the context. So why am I doing chapter 1? So let's go to chapter 11 first.
In other words, okay, you do the fishbone backwards. Yeah. I read it forward. Okay. I said, can you address the end of remote work due to AI at the end? Basically, okay, I have experience about SWE and associated careers with dead end careers, perhaps Showtime. Okay. The thing is, remote work depends on your level of expertise. Okay. Most times, people that lose their jobs with remote work is because they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, right?
Right.
Or the thing is, they're not doing enough. The thing is, a lot of people that are doing remote work are not contributing enough. Okay, because there's nobody to watch you. Okay.
Yeah.
Remote work, nobody to watch you. And a lot of people gotten caught slacking on their work. So, but a lot of people are getting canned doing remote work because they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing.
It's something I worry about.
Yeah.
myself. Like, did I do enough of that job? Did I bring enough value? Because they're watching.
Because they're watching. But the thing is, at Theo's level, okay, they will instantly know if you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, because those systems need to be watched. For your 8 hours, you got to be there watching that shit, because anything can go wrong at any moment. Okay, you get a gotcha in the middle of something, and 5,000 people lose their access to whatever it's supposed to be watching or doing. Okay, they're gonna track you down pretty quick and try to figure out why you let this stuff slip. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So remote work depends on your level of expertise. Okay, I can do remote work. Okay, but the thing is, I have expertise to actually do the remote work. Okay, depends on what you do, your level of expertise, level of knowledge, and the job that you pick. Okay, there's plenty of people doing it all over the world right now.
Yeah. So as long as you're doing your job, you're showing up, and they're showing value, and you're just consistent. Yeah, they don't care if you're remote.
Because a lot of those guys, people getting fired, are not remote workers.
Right.
They come in the job every day.
Yep.
And sitting at their desk. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
My mom asked what I thought the middle school. I told her I don't care. I'm studying for certification. Give her a link, Jules. Give her a link to my last patron. Okay. We talked about that for like 4 hours.
Yeah, I don't. To tell you the truth, I really don't care. Also, because I'm just thinking like, okay, how do I go to Brazil? So so they're gonna have like this flare out. Are the ships okay? Container ships going to Brazil? They are good. Okay, we're good. I don't care. So Intel's outsourcing sales jobs to Accenture and AI agents. Yeah, that's gonna make sense.
Yeah,
because that's a knowledge applied to a template.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah.
So they can do it. So you don't want to be in that position. When I'm talking about this kind of guy, this is a fear monger. And I say to these kind of guys, you want to be in control of designing the AI systems, not HR using AI to remove your position.
Exactly.
Yeah. So think about it. So if you're just going around saying like, well, these guys, the jobs are lost, this job's lost, guess what, kiddo? You're next.
You're next. Yeah.
Yeah, because you don't know what you're talking about. So we're working with the guys who want to do the AI systems, actually design it, and they're going to be okay. They're going to be making money.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, if you're the fastest camper, you're going to stay ahead of the bear.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I don't mind. I mean, the bear eats them. I'm like, okay, well, it wasn't me.
It wasn't me. I see Theo. Oh, you got 8. Oh, I am so sorry.
Yeah. I had this story inside the class. So like over these years, I've seen people like drop out of IT because there's recessions and things like that, and they can't take it anymore. They don't retrain, and they don't continue. Okay. So that means when the jobs can come back, there's less IT workers.
Right.
And the students ask me how I feel about it, and I'm like, I don't care. I just step over their bodies. Yeah. That's more work for me. I want them.
You got too much goddamn samurai in you, son. No head, step over the body. Yeah.
I have to survive. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
I have totally got to survive. So that's why I tell you guys, work on it, survive, see how you adapt.
Hey, Monster Cameron, man, calm down, all right? Calm down.
Yeah.
Okay?
So again, if you guys want to sign up for the class, the links are in the chat. People are telling you how to do it. You can either go to blackmanosphere.com and do it directly, sign up for the conclave, and then sign up for the Azure DevOps Lab, which is $750. I suggest you guys do this as quick as possible because the prices will increase in July, and then they'll increase again in August. That's how we work on this every year. So get on there. Again, the class 7 is going to be 2 years long. Okay. You want to get in there. You want to get in there and participating, and you want to become what I consider to be a new AI cloud engineer, which is going to be a new terminology, a new position in the next 2 years. So I want you guys on there immediately. And it's what we're going to be working on is Augentic AI. I just sort of saw that AWS coming out with Augentic AI that is launched. I'm working more with Augentic AI with GCP.
Yeah.
And so it can be either one. It doesn't matter. But there's going to be some really cool opportunities for you guys. In the next
and all the rules for these things aren't written yet.
No, they're not.
Thing.
I just told my students, they're like, what material should we get? What are demis? And I said, the books aren't there yet.
They're not there yet because they don't know. Yeah.
So we're writing the book.
Yes.
And they were like, well, why don't you write the book and put it on a demi? I said, no, I'm going to write the book for you guys. Screw everyone else. It's only for us. That's it. I don't care about anyone else. They maybe got to get some cliff notes. I want you guys in my class to have the knowledge and then get a foothold on the market.
Yeah.
And get that $100,000 a year job and then out of the country.
And then thing is, when you get crowdsourcing like this, when the students actually learn something, they actually bring it back to the class. Okay.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Which is why it works.
Right. And so then they're telling other students what to do and not to do, and everybody's learning together. And it's not ego driven. It's how you help somebody else. Right. It's communicative. It's like community. This works. And it's another reason why the ABW isn't in my class.
Ooh.
Because they're competitive.
Yeah. I had a couple of nieces that had turned down. Because my nephew's actually in the class. Well, your niece was, and I said it's not designed for them. Okay, sorry. If they want to learn, once he learns, have him teach them. Okay, that's what it works. Okay, once he learns. Okay.
No. I say, nephew, once you learn, get your job and go save yourself. That's the way that is.
If he wants to be generous, okay.
Oh, he could be generous with like some nice photos from another country.
Oh, you are brutal, Mookie. You're brutal. I can see why they call you Mookie. You're brutal, man.
No, after how we're treated in this country. Oh,
yeah, that's true. You got a point.
No, man, there's just, it's us. I want to make sure we're doing well. Like I said, like if I get married in Brazil, I need people flown over, right? I'm paying these tickets. I don't have time. I don't have time for that.
Anyway, Mookie, closing thought.
Again, the class is for Black men or like-minded men. So there are some white. There's a Pakistani in there, and there's a Latino.
Okay. We
don't care, right? As long as you're like-minded, you understand the Black manosphere, you understand where we're coming from. As long as that's doing the fine, that's good. Like what Jules just said, we help you with interview prep. That's what Jules actually leads. So we actually have this session where you can go in there and learn how to. You can test your skills with interviews, whether or not you're good or not. I'm gonna go and give a quick shout out to Jules because I was showing the other students how I do my speech ups. We call it speech ups, and I did a test prep with interview prep with Jules. And 10 days later, I had another interview on the market, and I wasn't even trying to get the job. I was just testing. And I got the job, but it was $300,000 a year doing AI security and DevOps. And I was like, what? Like this 300, I didn't even read the JD. They're like, yeah, we need you.
Yeah, if they need you, you'll get hired, okay?
Yeah, then they said, we don't want you to be a contractor. You're a full-time employee. We're going to give you everything.
In other words, we don't want you running off with our proprietary knowledge.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's why they lock you down. Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, like, there are guys in there who help out, even people me. So it's community. Go in there. You want to be a part of this. And then once you get your job, you can be part of us as professionals. And over years, you're going to be growing with us, and you're going to be, fully networked and making money and protected. And you want to have a kid, you can go have a kid. Go ahead, get married. You have protection there from us, from the group.
XRP fanatic. I know where you're coming from. People will be priced out. Nothing we can. That's something for the architects of the planet to actually solve. Okay, it's going to happen because you can't start out 7-8 billion people. They have to work this shit out. Thing is, you actually want to be the people in the 1% and not worry about it. Because as these things get introduced, they have to have people to keep an eye on these goddamn things. Okay. They have trillions of dollars being traded by these things every day. Okay, somebody has to be somebody at the switch. Okay, to keep these things on track. Okay.
Yeah. I agree. So yeah, there's always going to be a need for somebody to do some work. Make sure that the market needs you.
Yeah. Yep. Anyway, Mookie.
Okay, guys.
Go back to work, man.
Actually, I'm gonna have to go study. I might go and do another podcast, but
okay.
Yeah, I'm straight out constantly doing stuff. So again, guys, black men. Again, the requirement for the class is you're a black man with a pulse.
Yeah.
Pretty easy.
Pretty easy. Yeah.
Show up. At least show up. 90% of success is showing up.
And I've had people that's all they had was a pulse. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you had a pulse and had some dog blood in you because you got to be a dog to survive this process. Okay.
That's it. It's all you need.
So, if you got some dog in you, you got a pulse. That's all you need.
Yeah. How successful in France, in Japan, and Russia.
Yeah.
Showed up.
Showed up and dug in. That's all you got to do. Burn the boat.
Burn the bridge behind you. Can't go backwards. You have to always
go go forward. That's what the Greeks did, right?
Yeah.
They get there, burn the boats. There's no going back. Yeah.
All right, BGS. Thanks
all right, Mookie. Peace out.
Yep. See ya.
All right.
What can I say? What can I say? Mamba out.
Muzyka Denis 7.